What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and in this video I'm discussing Calum Von Moger Speaks, and is he out of rehab? Can Florian challenge Chris Bumstead of a Classic Physique Olympia? We have physique and prep updates from Martin Fitzwater, James Hollingshead, Kamal Elgargni, Regan Grimes, Marc Hector, Keone Pearson, plus the plans and updates from a few other 212 potential threats, plus which Mr Olympia competitor is expecting a baby around Mr Olympia time. All that plus much more coming up in this video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. What's up, Desktopers? Now, before I get into this one, I encourage you guys, if you like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. But let's get straight into this one because we have a ton of bodybuilding news to cover. And the first physique update we're going to go with is Martin Fitzwater, 6 weeks out of a Texas Pro. You can see him here in Metroflex Gym, which is obviously the gym that Ronnie Coleman and Branch Warren and many other greats came up in it as well, and he's looking absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think he's made huge improvements in the last couple of weeks. As you guys know, Branch Warren is coaching him right now, and whatever they're doing together, it's definitely working. And Martin's actually spoken a bit about his prep on the most recent episodes of our new podcast, which features obviously Martin, Nathan Detteshak, and Brett Wilkin as well. And he talks a little bit about his prep with Branch Warren and how crazy his metabolism is, how they're sort of doing things in terms of the high carb days and the low carb days, all that sort of stuff. So make sure you tune into that podcast. I'll put a link to that in the description below, but I'm really impressed with how Martin's looking right now. He looks like he's thicker right now, and he's leaner as well. Like, he's definitely one for the future. He's only 25 or 26 years old, and yeah, as you can tell, he's been putting in a lot of work because he's absolutely sweating his ass off in that Metroflex gym, because apparently there's no aircon or anything like that, and it's to Texas summer right now, so it's going to be pretty brutal out there. But obviously, it worked for Ronnie Coleman, it worked for Branch Warren, and it seems like it's working for Martin Fitzwater as well. Let me know what you think of Martin's most recent physique updates in the comments below. Our next physique updates from Kamal Elgargni, former 212 Mr Olympia winner, 51 years of age, 5.5 months out of the 2022 212 Olympia, and he's looking fantastic. He's actually shredded already. He looks like he's 4 weeks out or 2 weeks out or something like that based on his conditioning. He's got a huge amount of density. Like, when you look at that back shot, it is just so well developed, and it's so lean and so detailed already. He's got great calves. When you look at him from the front, his delts are huge, got a great chest. Yeah, he's maybe a little bit thicker around the midsection than when he was younger, but it looks pretty tight to me right here. So if he can bring this sort of physique to the stage, maybe just a little bit more on top of it, you know, in terms of conditioning and whatnot, he's going to be very dangerous at this 212 Olympia, especially as well because one of the 212 competitors, one of the top 212 competitors, is actually having a baby around December as well, which we'll touch on later. In our next physique update, we have Regan Grimes, super thick, 290 pounds, 5.5 months out of that Mr Olympia. He's looking his biggest ever to me, or at least very, very close to it. I'm super impressed with these recent physique updates. He's out there living in Vegas. It seems like it's the best thing for him. I know he's been using the electric muscle stimulation thing during training, where a lot of guys were using it. It's called the newbie. If he's using this on a lot of body parts, it seems to be working for him. And he's obviously got Milos out there as well for when he starts his prep. And I'm assuming he's going to still be training with Milos when his prep does start. Now, next physique updates from Marc Hector, who's prepping for the 2022 Arnold Classic UK. I'm a huge fan of Marc Hector, not just obviously physique-wise. He actually seems like a really nice guy as well, but physique-wise, he's made some huge improvements. You can see the most recent one right here on the screen, but also you can see this before and after. Now, the first one on the left there was taken in his 2020 prep, which is 14 weeks out, weighing around 124 kilos. The picture on the right was taken from his last check-in, which was on Sunday, at 12 weeks out, weighing 127.5 kilos. So you can see he's considerably leaner in the one on the right, where he's actually 3.5 kilos heavier. So it goes to show how much actual tissues he's added to his physique. So huge fan of Marc Hector. He seems like he's keeping those lines, keeping the waist tight. And if he can just continue to add muscle, he's going to get better and better and place higher and higher. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for Marc Hector. Now, moving on to a fellow UK pro bodybuilder who's also doing that same show, which is the UK Arnold Classic, and that's James Hollingshead with his most recent physique update, looking absolutely nutty. He always looks nuts, honestly. James always looks great. He just has varying degrees of how great he looks. But he actually put up this YouTube video saying where I am mentally, And it was actually a really, really good insight. So I'll put the link to that in the description below as well, into where his mind's at right now. And it's, it goes to show that even pro bodybuilders, go through struggles and all that sort of stuff as well, in terms of playing mind games with themselves and, having deeper thoughts. So I thought it was really insightful, really interesting, and I relate a lot to James as well, personally, with a lot of things that he says. I sort of resonate with him. So I thought it was super insightful, so I encourage you guys to go check that out on his YouTube channel as well. Now, our next physique update is from Tony O'Burton. He is not done yet with the 2022 competition season. He posted up this video here, as you can see on the screen now, and said, post-show vibes. Didn't get to go crazy like I wanted to with food, lol, but all good. Still in prep. What show do you think we should hit next? Chicago, Texas, Tampa, Legion, Baltimore, Virginia. Puts a few question marks. But then I actually went to his coach's Instagram page, which is Mike Courtney, and he posted up this video where he looks crazy impressive. And part of his caption was, Tonio sitting at 225 pounds and hard at work for the Chicago Pro. So we know he's competing at the Chicago Pro now. And honestly, I think Tonio was maybe a little bit overlooked at his last show, placing 5th. Like, I thought he could have definitely challenged for the win. I heard other people at that contest actually said the same, but we didn't have great coverage of that contest. We actually did have coverage from NPC News Online. They actually put up the official photos, but we didn't get to see those till a little bit later. And that's the only coverage we really had, apart from some iPhone videos and whatnot as well. So I think Tonio looks fantastic. I wish there was better coverage as well, and more videos and a live stream and all that sort of stuff. But hopefully for your Orlando Pro next year, they sort that out. But I think Tonio, going into these next shows, will definitely be a threat, no matter who's in the lineup pretty much. Our next update is from Stephen Detteshak. He's a 212 threat. He looks fantastic. I actually missed him out when I was discussing Ricky Moten, Quentin Araya, and actually put this picture up on a previous video. But Stephen Detteshak is looking fantastic, and he's making his pro debut at the Tampa Pro in just 4.5 weeks. And yeah, I'm very, very impressed with his physique. Yeah, he's a slightly shorter dude, but obviously it allows him to pack on a huge amount of muscle. And by this most recent physique update, I think he's going to do very, very well in his pro debut. Now, another guy he's actually going to be competing against is Nathan Epler, who sort of exceeded expectations at last year's Olympia. He's doing the Tampa Pro and the Texas Pro, 4.5 weeks out of that Tampa Pro. And as you can see here in the photos, it looks like he's added a bit more mass to his physique from the Olympia. And at the Olympia, he placed very well as well. So the fact that he's actually added muscle and he placed really well at last year's Olympia. So I assume he's going to be better as long as he gets in that razor sharp conditioning, because he's only got 4.5 weeks. Looks like there's a bit of water on there, still a bit of body fat, but Nathan Epler always comes in razor sharp, and he probably have to make weight as well. I mean, it makes him really, really, really dangerous. And he never looks as impressive standing by himself in photos, because he is taller for a 212 guy. But when he actually stands next to the 212 guys, because he is taller, it makes him look that much more impressive, and he can sort of tower over a few guys, although he's maybe not as thick as a couple of the 212 guys. But let me know how you think Nathan Epler will do in 2022. Now, one of the guys that Nathan will be going up against is Keone Pearson at that Texas Pro, which is his second show of the year. And yeah, Keone shows off his legs here on his Instagram story, looking super, super impressive. They're flat, as he says there, flat pump, but you can see the striations in his outer quad there where he's got it locked out. He's got some crazy detail through the side leg, and you can see the glutes are sort of in. And Patrick Tour actually posted up this one where he's just relaxed, and you can see sort of like the outlines of those lines in the glutes, and says no flexing, 209 pounds AM. And then he posted up this one of the upper body as well yesterday. Keone just looks super, super full, considering he's getting leaner as well. I mean, it's awesome. It's great to see, and I really like Keone, really like his physique as well, and I can't wait to see what he does this year on stage. And it's going to be a battle between he and Nathan Epler. While the physique updates from Keone look dramatically better than Nathan Epler's, in my opinion, Nathan Epler will bring it. He will be taller than Keone as well. And, Nathan was so high at the Olympia, so if Keone beats him, it really is a statement from Keone Pearson saying, hey, I'm one of the top 5 guys at the Olympia, basically. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who will win, Keone Pearson or Nathan Epler at that Texas Pro? In our next story, we're discussing, can Florian Poirson, probably butchered that, but we'll go with it, can he challenge Chris Bumstead at the Classic Physique Olympia, granted that he actually qualifies? Now, these are the most recent physique updates, and I'm just so impressed with how this guy's looking. He was an open pro bodybuilder. He's, dieting his way down to that classic physique, and he really does have a classic physique, in my opinion. I mean, he does have that sort of open thickness to him, but the waist is so small. I mean, the insertions, the lines, he just looks like a classic guy to me, in my opinion. He looks like a guy from, sort of the 90s that has really, really jacked legs. And someone asked in the comments as well, Patrick Tour's post says, how many kilograms more to lose? And Patrick Tour said 10 to 11 pounds. That should be no worries. I mean, I've heard of guys dropping that in, a day or whatever, which might not be healthy as well, just in water to make weight. But obviously they'll do it a little bit slower, and I can't wait to see how he looks on stage in the Classic Physique. And you can see some comparisons here between him and Chris Bumstead. And while they might not be exact representations, we need to see him side by side on stage, all that sort of stuff. He definitely looks comparable. We've got a different physique. He probably doesn't have the lines through the chest that like C-Bum has on stage at the Classic Physique Olympia. But he sort of, in some sorts of ways, looks more complete. When you look at the arms and everything like that as well, he's got a bit more thickness in the legs from the side, but does Chris Bumstead have more detail in that? That will be the question. But if Florian can actually bring the same level of detail that Chris Bumstead has, maybe with a little bit of thickness in a few areas of his physique, can that potentially beat Chris Bumstead? I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, but I think Florian could be one of the top guys in the Classic Physique if he can bring it into that weight without actually flattening out. But let me know what you think in the comments below about that. Now moving on to the big story of this video, and it's about Calum Von Moger speaking, posting up on his Instagram page. And it's sort of interesting as well because the post was actually put up by Calum Von Moger's manager, which was a video of him speaking, saying that Calum's gone to rehab and he's getting all the help he can get, and we might hear from him in, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. Where I assume when you go to rehab now, I don't know about this or not, so you guys can let me know in the comments. And obviously this is in Australia as well, so I don't know if it's different to America or whatever. But I don't believe you actually have access to your phone, or if you do, maybe it's just to contact family and whatnot as well. I don't think you have your phone, you're posting on social media and all that sort of stuff, because you don't want to be exposed to all that sort of stuff and all those outside influences. So he's actually back on his phone, which, to be honest, like when I saw it, I was sort of upset a little bit by it because I'm hoping that Calum's doing well and he's getting healthy and all that sort of stuff. But his manager actually put out that video saying he went to rehab. That looks like it's been deleted now, and Calum actually did put up a post with this photo and says, "It bothers me that people fake their true emotions. They'll be this entirely different person when you're not around, but the moment you show up, they put on a facade and they arouse their inner thespian. To express my feelings in the most simplistic terms, I can say I'm sick of fake people, period. Sometimes it seems the louder someone claims sainthood, the bigger the horns they are hiding. Throughout my life, I've seen people play the role of different characters around their peers. At times, they could be the worst of people. People happily wear these metaphorical masks depending on who they're with. Instead of embracing their true personality, they change who they are around select people. It frustrates me when people would rather keep their mask on instead of taking it off and revealing their true colours. I don't like being fake. You might not like what I say, but you'll always know where you stand with me. If my actions tell you that I like you, then I'm not acting. I'm a genuine person. It hasn't always been that way, but people learn and they grow. I don't understand being nice to someone's face and then shit talking them behind their back. I don't understand not being upfront and forthcoming about your feelings of others." So that, plus also deleting the past post by his manager, and also he's posting up some anime stuff as well with some sort of like songs with some sort of dark lyrics and stuff as well, sort of has me a bit concerned, because before Calum actually went into rehab, when, he sort of seemed to be sort of like going off the rails a little bit, this is the sort of stuff he's posting up as well, in terms of the actual anime stuff and all that sort of thing. So I'm not saying that this means that, he's out of rehab and he's fallen off the wagon and all that sort of stuff again, but it doesn't look great. And all I hope is that Calum is able to get the help he needs, and if he has relapsed in any sort of way, and not saying he has, I really hope that he gets the help he needs and he's able to get back to rehab and get back to whatever is able to help him in a way, because it is scary. And it's like, he's got 3.3 million followers and sort of everyone's watching this from a distance and just sort of hoping that Calum's okay. At least most people are. Most good people are hoping that Calum's okay. And I'm definitely hoping he's okay. I'm, sort of thinking of him. And when I see this stuff go up, it doesn't make me happy whatsoever. I don't think, oh yes, news story. Because I've hardly actually reported on the Calum Von Moger situation. So I do genuinely hope he's all right, and he is going to be all right, and he gets all the help he needs and finds some happiness in some sort of way, whether it's inside the fitness community or it's outside of it. But before I wrap this one up, I want to give a massive shout out to Sean Clarita and his partner, who are expecting a baby in December. Absolutely love to see this. They put up some cool photos as well. And what's interesting about this is the Mr Olympia is in December this year as well. And Sean Clarita is obviously competing in that, or at least as far as we know, he's competing in that. He's made some huge gains, and he's definitely going to be a contender for that 212 Olympia title once again, because we don't even know if Derek Lunsford is going to be competing in it. And the last couple of years, he's obviously won it, come second. And if Derek Lunsford is out of it, he's got to be the hot favourite to once again get that title back. But if not, he might even go into the Open as well. And I think regardless, he's going to do pretty damn well, whether it's a top 2, top 3 spot in that 212 Olympia, or it's, you know, potentially fighting for a top 6, maybe even spot, top 8, top 10 in the Open Mr Olympia. Let me know what you think in the comments below about how Sean Clarita will do, and also give congrats to him as well. So that's it for this video. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.